It's August 2nd, 2028, and for what seems like the fifth consecutive year, the Sacramento Athletics are almost in the playoffs at the two-thirds of the way point, the trade deadline. We're 54 and 52, 3.5 games out of that final wild card spot. The division, 11 games back from us, or I guess ahead of us. Probably not reaching for that anytime soon, but what did we do to try and push towards the wild card spot? I would argue that we weren't buyers, but we weren't sellers either. We did a little bit of both. Number one, Alex Bregman is now on the team. We got him from the Houston Astros. They actually offered the trade first, and we really didn't give up all that much. Esteban Rosas is a good-looking pitching prospect, but he's already fragile at 18. And, of course, he's a pitching prospect, and there's no such thing as a pitching prospect, so I was okay moving on from him. Arturo Ramon, I really don't think will evolve into being anything other than maybe like an all-out power minor league depth piece. Can't really play defense all that well. And we also give up Adley Rutschman, who I didn't have plans to call up this season. He was making more than the minimum, and the Astros were willing to eat a good bit of Bregman's salary with Rutschman added to the deal. We also got Alexis Covarrubias, who I wish I didn't keep in the trade. Houston actually had him in there themselves. And I wonder if I took him out, if I could have gotten a little bit more money, because I don't really see a future for him. He's kind of an average hitter, bad personality class, bad defender. Austin Charles was our almost everyday third baseman. He'd been hurt a few times. He's fragile. He's a below league average hitter, but a good defensive third baseman. I still think that Bregman represents a big upgrade from him. Next move, Tyler O'Neill. This is more of a sell. O'Neill was hitting okay for us, but he'd gotten hurt. He's a free agent after the year, and I thought what we could have got for him here is worth it. So we trade him along with Jose Ramos and Ali Camarillo, who are two prospects who I don't really have a future for Bishop Letson, a 23-year-old starting pitcher. Gregory Barrios, a good defensive, I guess a utility guy, really. Can't play the outfield. Infield utility. Really good eye and avoid Ks, no power whatsoever, but a depth piece to have. Edber Perez, an outfielder with a lot of power, not much else at 25. And then Chris Winters, who's a bit of a do-it-all guy, but can't do anything particularly well. I just thought adding four guys to improve the depth of the minor league system was worth it to move on from O'Neill, now that we have Malloy and a few other guys in the minor leagues. And we also added Spencer Torkelson, who I think will play a little bit of left field. Had a good season last year for the Tigers, 33 homers, 29 doubles. This year a little bit slower, but we add some power with him. They retain a lot of the money. We're really not paying anything for Bregman or Torkelson. Dan Cooper, 23-year-old, more of a first baseman, but a good hitter. We add him to the trade, and we only have to give up Dalton Varsho, who after hitting the cover off the ball fell off the face of the earth over the last month, so I was okay moving on from him. He's a free agent after the year. And Davis Martin, who was going to be in arbitration. Maybe if he wasn't, I would have kept him because he's a decent pitcher. But I didn't have plans to call him up. He's a righty. He's fragile. But other teams wanted him. So we move on from Martin and Varsho for Torkelson. And the last trade we made, which was actually the first trade of this series of moves on the 29th, was Ben Allen, a 19-year-old closing pitcher prospect who was our 7th-round pick in 2027. Sorry, my dog's on the bench looking outside barking. And we trade him for Bobby Hunter. Bobby Hunter, third baseman, 23 years old from the Giants. Good hitter. Anytime you could trade for a position player and only give up a reliever, it's a good deal in my opinion. And he's 4 years farther along. So as much as I liked Ben Allen as a player, Hunter is, I think, a good pickup for us. So 54 and 52. How'd we get to this point? Jesus Garindo has been on fire recently. 3.19 ERA, doing pretty well. Mitch Keller was an all-star. 3.12 ERA, getting lucky with the FIP, but our defense is still so good. Cade Cavalli has fallen off a bit of late. I looked into trading him, but the offers weren't good enough to move on. Casey Mize, another guy who I wanted to trade. His velocity has fallen from around 94 miles an hour to 89 to 91. It might have been higher than that, but he's probably going to be a washed-up pitcher by the end of the year. Right now, though, he can start for us, and that's okay. Emerson Hancock, also cooled off. The ERA has fallen about a full run. 3.47 ERA, still very good, though, for a pitcher of his caliber. Mason Miller has been fantastic. Just one pitcher of the month, I should say. 1.74 ERA, looking like one of the best relievers in baseball, although the FIP is lagging behind. Joey Estes now up in the big leagues after the few trades we made. Not off to a great start, but FIP is looking good. Maldonado was another guy who I thought about trading. Didn't see the great offers that you're looking for to trade one of our best bullpen arms, even though he is lagging behind a bit this year. Funderburk, another one of those guys, but he's actually pitching the best ball he ever has for us, and I think in the major leagues, period. Yes, this is his best season in the bigs. Who else is there? Brady Basso back up from injury, slow start, and this might be it for him with us. Now in arbitration, control and movement have fallen to a point where I'm not exactly comfortable keeping him rostered after his elbow surgery in the offseason. Angel Zerpa, doing good, but again, the FIP is not so good. And Nick Frasso finally, just kind of average. Trace Bright, though, is an all-star. 2.49 ERA, has a negative .7 FWAR, 5.43 FIP, but he just is getting so lucky that he was an all-star for us as a Rule 5 draft pick, which is pretty cool. On the offensive side, our lone all-star was Henry Bolte, who is pretty steadily a 130 OPS plus hitter, on track for 40 bombs. Very happy about this development for Bolte. We'll have to pay him in arbitration. Lawrence Butler, 131 OPS plus, still hitting the ball. Up to a 60 overall and potential player. He's our best player on the team by that, but he's now fragile, which is unfortunate. Manuel Pena, 100 OPS plus, good defense at second. Sure thing, man. Nasim Nunez, the bat's fallen off, but he is still such a good fielder that it does not matter. Daniel Suzak, another guy who is not hitting entirely well, but as a catcher, he gets a boost. Austin Charles back with the team until Bregman comes back from injury. He was hurt with Houston, so Charles will move down probably. Justin Henry Malloy, I'd like to have him pick it up. He's had nearly as many plate appearances as he did in Toronto. He's actually been a good defender, and that has driven his value almost to the point that it was in Toronto, but need to see him hit the ball. Just need hitters. Armando Cruz is up, 180 plate appearances, 113 OPS plus. He was hitting really well in AAA, so I thought about bringing him up, and he's been a good option at second. Denzel Clark is fragile once again after getting hurt, and he's not hitting entirely well, and I'm a bit disappointed in him. It seems like this is more the player that he is rather than the 104 OPS plus 3 WAR guy that he was in 2026. Next up, Torkelson, talked about him. Aaron Bracco has been very good in the stead of Tyler Soderstrom to the point that I kept him up when Soderstrom came back and I demoted Gabriel Martinez, who was not having a great go of it. So both those guys are back, and Ronald Hernandez cannot hit the ball, but it's okay. I don't really have another option at catcher. So, rest of the team, I'll keep this quick. Connor Griffin, now in AAA, after a good season so far in AA. Nolan Arenado's been really good in AAA. He might earn a call-up, maybe. Will Banfield may come up as well if Hernandez continues to be a non-factor on offense. And then I haven't decided who else I want to take up at the roster expansion deadline. Maybe Marcheco with his ratings being pretty good. Yeah, I think that's really about it. I'm keeping guys moving up the system. We're hoping to get there with the playoffs, I should say. A-ball, Mike McCall came right in and played very well. 126 OPS plus. And he's still got a good bit of season left, so happy about him, although he is a bit older for the level. But I wanted to get him off to a good start. Grady Emerson, not hitting well, but good defensively in high A. He wants to come up, and he's angry about it. Ayala just can't hit in high A. I don't get it. He was so good in A-ball last year. Just hasn't had a good BABIP this year. He just stinks. Bob Sexton was pitching very well in A-ball. I should move McCall up. Do we have a spot? We don't have a spot. Gio Ducre, not great. Phil King, not great. Danny Spain, who was our 8th round pick, hitting very well, might also get the call up to AA pretty soon once we get the roster spots available. So that's the team right now. I'll make another video if we make the playoffs at the end of the year, and we'll actually watch some games for the first time. But if not, then it'll be another off season. And year 5, looking okay. We'll see what we can do. Thanks for watching.